Mr. Wade here and Mrs. Crime. We are out here in Washougal Cemetery in Washington, and we're looking for two graves. One grave is a private, the other grave is a child, of course. And you know Mrs. Crime does not like doing child graves. If you haven't already did it, go ahead and subscribe. Click that like button. So, it's a good day out here. Drove about in a little hour and some change to come out here to give you this short video. And hope you guys enjoy this feature. It's not long, but it's something from Tombstone Whispers. Stay tuned. Now, what we're looking for is Mr. Gary. To get his name correct, his name is Gary Lynn Campbell. Who is he? Well, he enlisted into the military and what you call the Vietnam War. Now, as we all know, the Vietnam War was one of the big-time major wars the United States, everyone has been through. Once again, thank you to all our war veterans, and other people's families, loved ones that are actually doing service for the United States. We all thank you. Me and Mrs. Crime, thank you, of course. But we're looking for a Gary Lynn. Now, his story is this, from what Mr. Wade read about. He was a private enlisted into Vietnam War. Now, I don't know if it was during training or what, but he actually was killed by sharp pale metal. So sharp pale metal is actually pieces of fragmentation of a grenade that's meant to go up in the air, and it disperses all the metal pieces, and he was actually murdered by sharp pale material. I'm going to put the name of it on here, but sharp pale material. So actually he was murdered. Vietnam War, I don't know, in the process of the training of the boot camp or actually in the war itself. But all this information should be on here. So this is Tombstone Whispers. Shout out to the family, to all the historian people, and all the war veterans. He was murdered by Sharpnel now, or Sharpnel. I'm looking at my notes now. It's called Sharpnel. Sharpnel, however you pronounce it. But he was actually an objectivity of the Sharpnel explosion. So we're trying to visit his grave and give him the respect. Stay tuned. So after some extensive looking, I even have the map request on the actual grave itself, headstone, and Mr. Wade cannot find it. You know, sometimes those maps that you have on the cemetery plantations don't be exact. You know, if someone's found it and they actually put it in the system, it's there. But this one here shows it's in the area, in proximity that I'm at right now. Mr. Wade cannot find it. So I will be posting the actual grave picture itself of Mr. Gary Lynn Campbell. And I hope you guys enjoy this unfortunate story. Another unfortunate story from Tombstone Whispers, Mr. Wade and Mrs. Crime, of a private in Vietnam that was actually killed by shrapnel, which is the actual metal material, steel that explodes in the air, and he was hit by some of the fragmentation. We are now looking for another grave. This is a grave of a young child. He was 7 years old. Now, unfortunate story about this young soul is that he liked to ride a little motorcycle, little tyke motorcycle, I might call it. And he was riding through his neighborhood. You follow me? Now, his name is Michael Warren, age 7. Now, he was riding his little bike through the neighborhood. Now, as we all know, we tell our kids to always look both ways. Look out for this, look out for that. Look both ways when you cross the street, stuff like that. But, so he was riding his bike. And what happened was, unfortunate, this truck was backing out of the driveway and continued to back up and actually hit him on his bike. So he was struck by a trailer truck that was backing out of the driveway. It must have been going mighty fast and impacted little Michael. And from that point to the hospital, everything like that, that's what led to this unfortunate story of Mr. Michael Warren. So Mr. Wade and Mrs. Crime is looking for little Mr. Michael Warren's grave. Stay tuned. We are still at Washougal Cemetery. All right, everybody, look at who we got. We got Mrs. Crime out here. How you doing, Mrs. Crime?
I'm good.
How you feeling today out here in Washougal, Washington?
Fresh.
So as you see, I attempted, and I got 2 stories in one, unfortunate stories. But the first story, we could not find his headstone, but we did find little Mr. Michael. So, wow. 1 out of 2. Mr. Wade is bad about finding headstones and graves, but I found this one. Stay tuned. So here's the headstone of Michael W. Craven, 1948 to 1955. The Lord is my shepherd. And also buried here is Edward W., 1926 to 1999. Michael W. Craven. There's more written on here, but it says, let's see if we can see it. I can't get it. This is the grave and headstone of little Mr. Michael W. Craven. Struck by an oncoming truck backing out of a driveway, a pickup truck. Wow, riding his bike in the neighborhood. I hope you guys enjoyed the very sad, unfortunate stories of the 2 that we did out here in Washougal, Washington. I'm Mr. Wade and
Mrs. Crime.
a lot more coming to you from Tombstone Whispers. Stay tuned.